disappointingly on the weekend, we saw Jack Catterall in a very tight fight with Arnold Barboza lose, which was unexpected to, I think, most of us. But we've got Sam Jones, Jack's manager, coming down the line. Sam, how are you? Disappointed, I suspect?
Oh, devastated. Absolutely devastated. It was a fight that I genuinely believe Jack won, but he ultimately, Jack will watch the fight back and kick himself, because I think he could have applied himself a little bit more and made a lot easier night than what it actually was. But when you make the fight that close, and you run the risk of losing a tight decision, which unfortunately Jack was on the other end of, I thought Jack won, but it's the way it goes, and it's just a sickener, to be honest with you, because we're so close to that WBO title, and then it's a big setback.
Spence, do you agree? I mean, I thought Barboza won the fight. Do you think it was a fair decision?
Yeah, I thought it was a fair decision. I thought Barboza won 7 rounds to 5. It was a close fight, and I agree with Sam on that. But I think that he will kick himself, Jack Catterall, for his performance, because I think there was times in rounds there, the close rounds as well, where he was waiting just a split second too long, and that can be, you know, that can have a massive effect on the outcome of a fight. And I think it happened there. You know, I think that Barboza, you know, at times got into a little rhythm, and he was just stealing rounds. Very close fight, tactical fight, but maybe Jack should have applied a little bit more pressure, because he's good at doing that as well. He's very educated in when he does that. You know, he's not reckless when he does that, but we didn't see enough of it, and I think that's why he'll kick himself. But I thought it was a fair decision.
Sam, I know you don't think that he lost the fight, but ultimately he did. So Where do you think the fight was lost, and what do you think Jack needs to take from this, or what will he take from it?
I just think when Jack was landing clean, Barboza had an answer, even though they were kind of nothing shots, but he was slightly more active than Jack. I do think Jack scored a fair knockdown. The letter of the law says if a glove touches you and you fall on the floor, it's a knockdown. Doesn't matter whether your feet are tangled up or whatever. It was a knockdown. But look, you can't cry and complain about a fight that could have been a 7-5 either way. We just have to move forward, and Jack needs to bounce back very quickly.
Where are you on Jack Catterall? I mean, obviously, I think we all felt very unhappy on his behalf, because I think he should be a 4-belt champion, because I think he beat Josh in the first fight.
Yeah.
Beat him certainly in the second.
Yeah.
Look at the fights he's been on recently. Yeah. Jorge Linares, Regis Prograis. He comes up in this fight. Maybe a few of us overlooked the talents of Arnold Barboza, because he came into the back garden of Jack Catterall and did a performance that a lot of people look past. Where are you on the Jack Catterall situation now? I think he's a great fighter.
I think Jack, listen, he's class, he's world class, Simon. You know, we documented that, but I think he just let himself down at the weekend. After watching the fight back several times, I think he just let himself down. You know, it seemed that Barboza just had the last say in pretty much all the exchanges. It was only like a jab.
He controlled the pace of the fight, didn't he?
He controlled the pace of the fight, and what really surprised me that Catterall didn't have enough urgency about his work. He was content just to sit back and do wide shots and throw a single shot. He didn't put enough combinations together. He wasn't trying to mix it up with Barboza. And when he really needed to, you know, step on the gas and pushed his kid back, again, he just didn't do it for whatever the reason. You know, he might be a little bit tight making the weight, I don't know, but he looked a little bit out of sorts. Let's put it like that. I don't really know what the reasons were.
Is that not because Barboza was... I mean, I looked at that fight and I thought Barboza did, probably not greatest comparisons because of the weight classes, but did a disciplined performance like Bivol did to Alvarez when Alvarez stepped up. Didn't allow him to do it.
Yeah.
You see it that way, Spence?
Yeah, that's spot on, Simon. That's exactly what it was. Barboza came with a game plan, and the game plan was just to outwork. It was educated in what he was going to do, but it was to outwork Jack Catterall and have that last punch and that last say. Like Catterall, like you say, the telling shots, the eye-catching shots were coming from Catterall, but I just thought that it, you know, he had an off night, and that's pretty much where it is, and that's why he will kick himself. And the answer to your question on can he come back, of course he can, and he will be a world champion for sure. I'm sure of that. Listen, one performance like that where you go, he wasn't firing on all cylinders. I understand that, but it was a very, very close fight still. I think he beats Barboza in a return, by the way, if that fight does happen, because I think he will make those adjustments. I really do.
But I mean, Barboza made it pretty clear he's not going to give him a return. So where is it next, Sam? Yeah. Where does he go next?
Well, it's a question for the fans, really. And I'm being serious when I say that. I mean, it's a fight that Jack's in a position now of who do the fans want to see him in with? Whoever the fans want to see him in with, genuinely, Jack's never ducked or dodged anybody. So whoever the fans want to see him in with next, that's the fight.
But you're controlling some of his career, Sam. So you're plotting the way forward for him, and matchmaking is a key part of it.
Well, listen, an ideal world, you'd have a rematch with Barboza, but it's not going to happen because Barboza will sit on that. But if Lopez was to move up, then the rematch could potentially be there because I think Jack will still have a good ranking in the WBO. He's paid his sanction fees for years, so hope we've got a good relationship with the WBO. But I don't know. There's lots of names like, I mean, listen, there was a lot of people talking about the Dalton Smith fight, but Dalton Smith's in a I knew you were going to ask me that, but yeah, Dalton's in a position where does he really want to fight Jack Catterall? Like, and I respect that, like, because Dalton's waiting for his world title fight. Does he need to take a risk like Jack? Probably not. But it's a fight that we would take in a heartbeat, not a problem. There's Kambosis, who Eddie's just signed. Take that, not a problem. Liam Parrow, not a problem. Any fights that, any big fights that, I mean, I had a brief chat with Eddie today, and Eddie goes, look, there's option of a comeback fight or we can go straight back into a massive fight. I don't even need to ask Jack. He would just say straight away, put me in the biggest fight possible that the fans want to see.
Spence, where would you like to see him go next?
Yeah, listen, I think the huge problem that Jack Catterall's got is that he's too good for his own good, and if you don't have to fight him, you won't fight him. He's the chairman of the Who Needs Him, Who Wants Him club, and that's the position that he's put himself into when losing that one to Barboza, so it's very, very difficult. I would put him straight back in there with the top operators. If they can get him a world title shot or get him a top operator on the fringe world title shots, then that's where to go. That's, you know, he deserves and belongs at that level. He's done his apprenticeship, you know, he's served his time, and he's been very unfortunate, like you said, Simon. I think he should have been undisputed lightweight champion. That would, you know, that's a real shame, and he'll have to live with that forever. But ultimately, you know, I think we need to see him go straight back in with the big names. He doesn't need tune-up fights or anything off the back of that.
What do you think? I mean, did we learn anything about Jack that we didn't already know? I mean, ultimately, we've seen him have this unfortunate set of circumstances where he's been denied the opportunity by Josh Taylor. Time has gone on, 2, 3, 4 years. He's had fights that potentially some would say he should have gotten a world title shot without having to have some of the fights that he's had to have. Where do you think he should be going next, and what do you think he should be doing next?
If he doesn't target a rematch with Barboza, then certainly he should be going straight in with one of the other rival champions, if he's indeed high enough in the rankings. Because what he runs the risk of now is fighting a lesser opponent and just not being able to raise his game and then losing a controversial decision against somebody who we should wipe the floor with. So, as Spencer already said, doesn't need a warm-up fight, Sam. Needs to go straight back into the big one.
Before I let you go, Sam, just very briefly, I mean, how is Jack after this fight? Because we didn't hear much from him. So how is he taking this loss?
Jack, listen, his pride's a bit dented. That's how he said, but he's ultimately, he wants to hurry up and get back in there and right the wrongs of the last fight, even though he believes he picked the fight, but ultimately it was a pick 'em fight. He wants to go straight back in there. I mean, look, there's the Josh Taylor trilogy that's still there, and those other names I mentioned. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's still a big fight. Jack can do 147
That's been done, Sam. That's been done and answered, hasn't it?
Well, it's a fight that I think it's 1-1, isn't it? Well, it's 2-0 really, but we're happy to make it 3-0.
Listen, Sam, nice to see you. Thanks for your time. Give our best regards to Jack, and you keep supporting that scabby Derby County team of yours.
Wow. Take care,
see you,
Simon. Bye-bye.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.